I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get set for the 23rd race of the 7th season of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Getting ready to go racing here at Watkins Glen International. Will be the final regular season road course race for these drivers. They, of course, will have a couple of road courses to traverse during the playoffs, but it's the last opportunity for a driver to potentially use their road course expertise to win their way into a playoff position, and it should be a good one here today. This is, ever since Season 1, been the 23rd stop, a very pivotal area in the home stretch towards the playoffs, and looking forward to seeing what it brings to the table here today. Now, in the first 4 races we ran here, it was the domination of the Fords, but the last 2 races, it has actually been the Toyota Camrys that have gone to victory lane. Chevy is still trying to break into the winner's circle here in this upstate New York racetrack. We'll see if they could do it here today with Charles Sanford capturing the pole position in yesterday's pole day qualifying. He shares the front row with Ryan Brommer. Now, I mentioned that Toyota has won the last 2 events. It has both been by drivers out of the Auto Junction Racing stables. However, back in Season 5, it was the number 78 that went to victory lane. Last year, it was the number 77 that went to victory lane. Ryan Brommer could complete the trifecta for the team numbers here today in this one. Here's a look at your playoff standings coming into this race. A few names kind of shuffling a little bit in the top 10 in overall standings. In exchange for second, Austin LaPlante is now ahead of Casey Hoyt. Hoyt dropping down to the 3rd seed. Keith Batson moved up a spot down towards the latter portion of the top 10 to 8th. Levi McIntyre broke back into the top 10 up to 9th. And Will Goss, after his victory last week, his second on the season at Homestead Miami Speedway, also moved back up into the top 10. That has changed the names, but not necessarily the positionings of the wild card spots. Still in the number 1 seed there is Connor Breton, who is 22nd in overall points. Jessica Shelton, 21st in points, is in the 2nd seed for the wild card drivers. And now, 3 drivers with 1 win in the wild card positions, just different names now. McIntyre and Will Goss moving in, Dylan Young and Caleb Fogler falling out. So Young and Fogler 12th and 15th in points in the 3rd and 4th seeds. Zachary Fitzwater right now 20th in overall points in the 5th seed, which means for the 2nd straight week in a row, a driver currently holds the 16th and final seed via points, and that is again Reese Banks, who still sits 11th in overall standings, the highest driver outside of the top 10 but inside of the top 30 in point standings without a victory. As far as the drivers that are outside of the top 30 in points, the scenarios for them, both of them are in the field here today as well. Matthew Rodriguez, 37th in points coming into this one. He is a total of 36 points below 30th in the standings cut line. And Kyler Sustre, who's failed to make the last couple of starts, he's 40th in overall points, a total of 44 points below the cut line. Both of them going to need good points days here today to be able to bounce back. Hope for that their wins can count towards a wild card spot by the time we get to the regular season finale at Auto Club Speedway. But that is a look at what your playoff standings are coming into this race, and it's now time to go green for 41 laps here at the 7-corner, somewhat high-speed road course of Watkins Glen. Glen, let's go down trackside for those most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Get our rhythm. Get ready to rock and roll today. It's a long race. There will be a lot of pit stops. So just go out there, do what you got to do. No mistakes. That's the big thing today. Just no mistakes.
See your starting lineup on the right side of your screen. You heard it there over the radio transmission. A lot of pit stops. Pit road is usually the key deciding factor in these Watkins Glen races in terms of pit strategy. Expect nothing less here today, as it's the defending champion, Charles Sanford. Second pole on the season for the driver at S3 Motorsports, and he will lead us down the front straightaway here into the restart zone, and we are green at the Glen. Up over the slick rumble strip there. Sanford will clear for the top position. Nathan Orman looks to move into second. Battle will be for third. Ryan Brommer on driver's left. Casey Hoyt, 3-time winner on the season, on driver's left. And they'll stay double wide, about 2, 3, 4 rows deep, heading down here into the chicane, into the bus stop. Which line is going to win out? Looks like the outer lane there for Casey Hoyt, and Dylan Poteet moves them into third and fourth. So just like that, Brommer, in the span of less than a lap, drops from second back to fifth. Rail tuck in front of Kyle Matthews and Michael Norman, sixth and seventh. Charles Sanford out of the final corner, a little wide, and gets the wall there. Coming around to complete the first lap. He was able to hang on to the top position, but I mentioned about the fact that the rumble strip over here into the hard braking right-hander turn 1 is slick. The sun has been beaten down all day, so any rubber that gathered up there on the rumble strips from yesterday's qualifying event as well as past events is going to make it very, very slippery. And that exit off of turn 7 we saw there, even with the clean air to the nose of Charles Sanford, got those tires very, very slidey, and that wall off the final turn might be a trouble spot for most drivers during the course of this day. Casey Hoyt swings around Charles Sanford, and Hoyt goes to the race lead. The last time we were at a road course at Suzuka, Casey Hoyt picked up the victory, as the caution flag is out for the first time today. So we'll follow the battle back here to the line. Sanford going to take a look here, going into sixth to get the lead back. Might have the preferred lane here down into the right-hand turn 7 if he doesn't go wide again. Ooh, you saw him have to lift out of the throttle to avoid getting up into the wall. And Casey Hoyt will lead us back to the caution. Sanford will barely edge out Dylan Poteet, then Ryan Brommer and Kyle Matthews are going to be the top 5. Cole Deaver, who started last in this race, may have potentially been involved in this incident. Matt McIntyre as well, quite a ways back. I don't see super significant damage on either of those machines. And it looks like nobody is on pit road. Actually, Cole Deaver made an unscheduled stop, it looked like, there right after we went green. So it may have just been Matt McIntyre the reason for this yellow flag, which we'll go back and take a look at right now. I'm not sure what the issue was for Cole Deaver, but whatever it was, this caution going to save him, as Matt McIntyre, who was at the rear of the field, very fortunate that this occurred where it did, with where he was in the field, with the fact that contact there with Daniel Voyle spins him around in the uphill section of the S's. We've seen in the past drivers spin out in this area and get clobbered Obviously, Matt McIntyre would have loved to have had a better qualifying effort yesterday, but very rarely do we have harmless spins in that section of Watkins Glen, and we ended up getting away with one right there. Pit road is open, and it looks like a lot of our leaders are going to come down pit lane here. Just about everybody, actually. Going to take the opportunity here to pit under yellow rather than under green flag conditions. We don't know what the fuel window is for these guys, so doesn't look like anybody's rolling the dice to gain track position here. They're all going to come down pit lane, and the lights will go out atop the pace car over on the long stretch before the chicane this time by. Let's see what they go with. Do they go with fuel? Do they go with 4 tires? Do they maybe just take 2 tires? Charles Sanford is going to have that number 1 pit box. We'll see if that will help him with the exit launch. Jose Mills is already down and away in the 38 car. Looks like they may have gone with fuel only for him. So he's going to gain a bunch of track position. Hoyt's going to win the battle off of pit road. Poteet follows in second. And, ooh, I think Jose Mills may have just edged out Charles Sanford for 3rd place. Mills was 26th coming onto pit lane. He gained 23 spots with that strategy call. So looks like it'll be Hoyt, Poteet, Mills, Sanford, and Brommer. The top 5 when we go back green. It will take scoring a little bit of time to update, bear in mind. It probably will not update to where the drivers are actually running until after they cross the start-finish line, since it will have scored them after they crossed the line on pit road. But there you see the lights are out atop the Toyota Camry pace car, so we will get back green flag racing. That's the one good thing about road courses and Watkins Glen in particular. We only have about 2 laps of pacing, which means more laps for racing. Kyle Matthews looks like he'll be restarting in 6th. Michael Norman 7th. Anthony McCurry in 8th. Ryan Brommer and Kyler Sustre are going to be the top 10. Well, we got a chance to bring you up to speed on what the point standings look like coming into this event. Rob Evans firmly in control of the points lead. Austin LaPlante jumped up to 2nd last week, 25 points out. Casey Hoyt, our current race leader, dropped to 3rd. He's 38 points back. James Qualls currently in 4th. He's 48 points out. And Jesse Turner, a former winner here at this racetrack, is 5th in overall points, 78 points out of the top spot. Dylan Poteet currently in 6th. Destin Bowl in 7th. Keith Batts and Levi McIntyre. And last week's winner, Will Goss, the top 10. Will Goss becoming the 6th different repeat winner on the season, the 3rd 2-time winner in the series, and close the rookie points battle between him and Casey Hoyt up to 10 points coming into this afternoon's race. So Casey Hoyt, who the last time we were at a road course took the checkered flag, looking for his 4th win on the season, 4th win of his career. He'll lead us back here to the green flag. We're back underway here at the Glen. Lap 5 goes on the board. Battle will be for 2nd. Jose Mills showed the nose on Dylan Poteet. Poteet a little wide there on the rumble strip off of turn 1, and Mills, he's going for a twofer. He's going to try and take the lead here from Casey Hoyt. Jose Mills trying to get some redemption from last week after he started on the pole at Homestead, Miami. Led 26 laps in that race, but did not bring home the checkered flag. Finished poorly, very, very poorly in that race. The inaugural winner here at Watkins Glen is now clear and in the lead. Jose Mills to the point. Hoyt's troubles aren't over yet. Charles Sanford with a nice run through the carousel was looking to the right side of Casey Hoyt. Hoyt, though, able to keep him at bay, and now it's Dylan Poteet and Charles Sanford, a couple of Chevrolets. That'll duke it out for 3rd place. Looks like Poteet's going to get that spot. Oh, Hoyt into the wall there on the slick rumble strip. Kyle Matthews with a big save back there. Oh, they are, ooh, man, I don't know what happened in the middle here of this group. But Michael Norman was off into the grass a little bit there. So was Anthony McCurry. Matthews had a big-time save. How they kept that together, I'm not sure. Well done to all these drivers who could have easily thrown away good track position. And I think it kind of scared them a little bit. They all got themselves single-filed out as the battle for the lead is on. Sanford on Jose Mills, the pole sitter, trying to get back to the front. Well, able to swing around the outside there. Looks like through the bus stop, if you can get a driver caught out on your left side, you're able to complete the pass by the time you get through the second third of that bus stop. And Charles Sanford will go back to the point. I think drivers will be taking note of that if they're potentially planning to set somebody up to make a pass for the win on the final lap. Anthony McCurry just made a move around Ryan Brommer, so move him up into the top 5 as everybody there, at least amongst the top 10, able to get out of the final corner without hitting the wall. I think they're all going to avoid that rumble strip like the plague if they can at least help it. Troubles continue for the 3 of Cole Deaver. This has not been his weekend. He qualified dead last, did not have a lot of speed in qualifying at all. I think he was about 3/10 off of the next car in qualifying laps. And we mentioned he had the unscheduled pit stop. Well, he was back on pit road again after we went green. He is 2 laps down. He's back out on the racetrack now, but 42nd. And Nick Gunther also with a unscheduled pit stop after we went green. He is currently the last car on the lead lap, 24 seconds behind the race leader in 41st. So Gunther, who was looking to move up into the top 30 in points for the first time in multiple weeks. And so somebody that I think we were looking at that was going to be eyeing this racetrack as a road course specialist, as an opportunity to maybe pick up his first win on the season. He's going to be having to rely on a yellow flag to get him caught back up, and there it is. Caution flag is out. Now the question is, did the leaders already cross the line, or are they racing back? Looks like they are slowing here. Are they slowing? No, they're not. So I guess they are racing back. I think some of the leaders had crossed the line already, some of them had not, so I think you're going to see the field broken up here. As they're battling back to the caution. Mills, Sanford, Poteet, then a gap back to Anthony McCurry in 4th, and another gap back to Ryan Brommer in 5th. This was exactly the caution that Nick Gunther wanted to see. Looks like Laura Chung might have been the reason for this yellow. She is on pit road, the defending winner of this race from 1 season ago. As off the final corner, Jose Mills, a little wide there, but so was Sanford. Will come down, and Mills will take the second yellow flag of the day. And they've already pushed the 77 of Laura Chung behind the wall. So 1 season removed from her first career win that locked her into the playoffs last season, is the first driver out of today's race. Let's go back and take a look at a replay of what happened to her. Wonder what area of the racetrack this was. Oh, looks like it might have been off the final turn. Oh, man, gets sent into the pit wall. That was Jesse Turner. Looked like Chung swung a little wide there, got into the right rear quarter panel of the 47. And as the 47 was trying to save it off the rumble strip, it projected him into Laura Chung and sent her down toward the pit wall. Right there, you can see a clear shot of that. And the end result was not good for driver 77. See if we can get another angle of it here. Not sure how much we're going to be able to see with the far cam. not very much there with the trees in the way. Oh man, Laura Chung almost saved it onto pit road, but just hits that yellow barrel and it clips the wall, and with the car stopped theoretically somewhat on the racetrack, they had to throw the yellow flag, and that is a tough break for Laura Chung, who had high hopes coming into this race of being able to double down her success here at the Glen, and it is not going to be the case. Pit stops taking place here once again. Under the second yellow, Jose Mills, who made that strategy call to gain track position, looks like he's going to lose a lot of it this time out. As about 5-6 drivers going to beat him off of pit road, and it will be the number 1 pit stall for Charles Sanford that will have him as the leader when we go back green, with Dylan Poteet in second. It's like Ryan Brommer third, Kyle Matthews fourth, and Ryan Butcher in fifth. Then Rob Evans sixth, and Mills will be back in seventh for the upcoming restart. So as mentioned, this caution really helping out Nick Gunther. That'll keep him get him caught up to the tail end of the field, still on the lead lap. There is Cole Deaver in the 3. He was 2 laps down, had to make that unscheduled pit stop. He elects to stay out, so he is 1 lap down right now, and he's hoping for a quick yellow to be able to keep him 1 lap down, then maybe be able to get that second lap back the hard way at some future point. He's going to have his teammate right behind him too, so Sanford's got to figure out what he's going to do here. How much pressure is he going to put on Deaver to put him a second lap down, while trying to also play defense against Dylan Poteet, Ryan Brommer, and Kyle Matthews behind him. Laura Chung, the only driver out of the race, currently scored 41st, but she will drop to 42nd when Deaver gets back here to the start-finish line. Not going to be a good points day, obviously, for Laura Chung, who already was 34th in points coming into this race. Only 3 races after today remaining on the regular season schedule. So going to be a lot of work to do for that 77 team if Laura Chung is going to make a second playoff appearance. By the way, next week, be sure to join us, as it will be Atlanta Motor Speedway, the worn surface of Atlanta Motor Speedway for these drivers, not the Atlanta Super Speedway that we were at for the All-Star race break. Get ready to go back green. 10 laps will be completed. Charles Sanford will get us restarted. Deaver with a good jump there. Might have been planned to give Charles Sanford some breathing space here down into the heavy braking zone, not having to adhere to the braking zone of the car in front of him. Dylan Poteet looking to put the pressure up through the S's. Jose Mills, I think, completed a couple of passes right there. I think he passed both Rob Evans and Anthony McCrory out of turn 1. Restarted in 7th, and he's already up to 6th. Ryan Brommer a little wide there through the bus stop. He's got his teammate Ryan Butcher right behind him, pressuring him for the 4th position. Kyle Matthews looking on along with Mills. Casey Hoyt, who was up front earlier on, is slipped back now into a battle with Caleb Fogler. That is for 11th spot. And Fogler is going to take the position before they even get over here to turn 7. Keith Batson, a former winner here from Watkins Glen, as I think I just saw somebody on pit road. Couldn't tell who that was on the pit lane. Also being told that last week's winner, Will Goss, has been issued a black flag that he's going to have to serve. Might have been a restart violation. Cannot pass the driver in front of you before the start-finish line, and with the field kind of stacked up in the mid-pack to the rear of the field, there is a chance for that to potentially happen. As Sanford completed the pass around Cole Deaver, now he's got the lap car that is up to speed between himself and second place Dylan Poteet. Will Goss coming off of pit lane. Nick Gunther looked like he might have made another pit stop there when we went back green. He's now 2 laps down after he would have been on the tail end of the lead lap. And Matthew Rodriguez, they're saying, I believe. No, it wasn't Matthew Rodriguez. There's somebody else that made an unscheduled stop, I think. Or maybe it might have been the 11 of Will Goss that I'm seeing on my telemetry that came to pit road to serve the black flag speeding penalty. Will Goss, of course, all but securing himself a spot in the playoffs last week with that second victory. And I'm sure he was hoping for something better here at Watkins Glen following up that momentum. But as of right now, Will would more than likely, if things don't change between now and the checkered flag, he would drop out of the top 10 in points and be back in a wild card position heading into Atlanta next week. Ryan Brommer got by Dylan Poteet up to second. Now he has to deal with Sanford's teammate Cole Deaver before he can get up there with Sanford. I didn't realize it until we had gone green, but we had candy-related cars on the entire front row. You had Reese's with Charles Sanford and Twix with Ryan Brommer. Reese's a Hershey's candy. I'm not certain off the top of my head what Twix is. Kyle Matthews got loose there off of 6. Jose Mills takes a look to the inside of him. This will be for the 5th position. Is Twix a Nabisco candy? I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm gonna look it up here to find out. Oh, it's a Mars it is a Mars thing. So yeah, we got Hershey versus Mars, M&M Mars. As we watch this 3-way battle, 4-way battle now. Mills, Matthews, Breton, McCrory, Connor Breton, looking good here today. 3-time winner on the season. 22nd in overall points. In the number 1 seed for the wild card drivers as things currently stand, and he's going to complete the pass around Kyle Matthews with a little assistance from Jose Mills. Now McCrory going to work on Matthews, and we'll tuck back in line just in front of Caleb Vogler. Up front, Charles Sanford continues to show the way. Ryan Brommer trying to run him down. Let's take a lap around Watkins Glen, courtesy of the Twix Toyota. Charles Sanford 23rd in points, Ryan Brommer 26th in points. Both drivers could win their way into a wild card spot here this afternoon. You saw as we were on board with Ryan Brommer, he was able to get around Cole Deaver, and now he will look to get 1 position more to take the race lead from Charles Sanford. Ryan Butcher has gotten around Deaver as well, clear into 3rd place. So now Auto Junction Racing, that has won the last 2 events here at the Glen, in 2nd and 3rd. The 3rd entry, Laura Chung, the only driver out of the race. 41 drivers still running, 39 of them on the lead lap. Cole Deaver and Nick Gunther down 2 laps apiece. Best battling has been going on from 5th position on back. Breton and Poteet for the 4th spot. And Breton will take it off of turn 7. Kyle Matthews lost a couple of spots there. Jose Mills swung around him for 6th, and Caleb Fogler did get 7th for a brief moment, but Matthews battled back on the inside of turn 7 to grab the position back. Fogler will drop back to 8th. Of the 6 previous seasons, 4 former winners of the event were in the field today. Jose Mills, Jesse Turner, Keith Batson, and Laura Chung. As of right now, you've got 2 of those 4 up here inside of the top 10. Mills battling there with Poteet. That is for 5th, and Keith Batson right now holding down the 10th position, just in front of points leader Rob Evans. The other former winner that is still running, Jesse Turner, is currently back here in the 21st position. Turner took the checkered flag here back in Season 2. Brommer with the move, shows the nose, can't get there through turn 1. As Deaver was able to get back around Ryan Butcher, and Butcher's under fire from Connor Breton for 3rd. Connor Breton this past week announcing that he's returning to Northeast Motorsports next year for a 2nd full-time season. Has 3 victories this year in the 88 car. It's going to be the first time in the history of Northeast Motorsports that they will be heading into a season with the same roster they had the previous season. Back at Season 1, Ryan Butcher left the team to create Auto Junction Racing. There have been numerous drivers in the 24 in different seasons, including Alexander Rowe and Nathan Hudson. Benjamin Miles for a time stepped out of the race car and handed the reins over to Jacob Thibodeau when they changed the number from 25 to 33. And of course, last season, Jack Dunnard made an appearance for the championship in the Final Four, but was not re-signed to the team. Next season, though, will be same numbers, same drivers, with Fogelman in the 24, Miles in the 25, LaPlante in the 48, and Breton in the 88. And Breton, with that new contract inked in, looking to get his series-leading 4th victory on the season, as he's already gotten around Ryan Butcher, and he's going to work on Ryan Brommer. He's got one of the fastest cars on the racetrack right now. I'd say between him and Caleb Fogler, for who might have the fastest long-run machine. Fogler trying to go to work back there on Dylan Poteet, who's starting to fall back. Kyle Matthews now looking to get around the 31. Deaver thought about making the pass there on Ryan Brommer. People probably wonder, well, why is the 3 up here racing the leaders? Well, remember, Deaver is currently 2 laps down. If he can get up there ahead of Charles Sanford, he'd be 1 lap down, catch a yellow, and potentially he could in some way find some strategy to get himself back on the lead lap. Nick Gunther's struggles continue for the 55. He was on pit road and just now leaving again, so you got to think that there's something untoward going on with that Mazda. They keep bringing him in and checking to see what's happened. I think the last time they had the hood up on his machine. The other Mazda doing well here today, though. Anthony McCurry up here inside of the top 10, so it can't be something that is plaguing both race cars, just the 55, as Breton gonna make the pass around Charles Sanford through the bus stop, and Connor Breton will go to the race lead. Only 3 drivers have been out in front so far today. Charles Sanford has led a race-high 14 laps. Casey Hoyt led 3 laps, and Jose Mills has led 2. Now Connor Breton will get added to that list if he can hold this top position. Coming around here to the start-finish line. Connor Breton with 3 victories on the season, but is yet to win at a road course. He won at Texas, M&M Super Speedway, and his last win was at Kentucky. So a 1.5 mile and a 3-mile super speedway, but would like to add another type of racetrack to his checkered flag resume. And he is opening up a gap here back to Charles Sanford. About 4 car lengths, maybe 5 here. Exiting out of the S's and heading down to the backstretch chicane. Here's the 28 of Caleb Fogler. It looks like he has maybe the second fastest car in the field right now. He's caught up to this long line of cars from Ryan Brommer back to Jose Mills. Caleb Fogler, 15th in overall points, currently in the 4th wild card spot as things stand right now. The former champion from season 5, as it looks like we've got some drivers pitting. Cole Devers coming in, lap down car, but the highest running driver to dive onto pit lane here is going to be the 09 of Kyle Matthews. Keith Batson behind him as well. They were 7th and 10th at the time, and they're coming in trying to see if maybe they can gain some track position on pit strategy on the undercut. I believe they are the only 2. Nope, there's another one in. Zachary Fitzwater in the 66. We'll keep this in mind where Matthews was running before the pit stops began. 7th place. We'll see if this does cycle around where he will be positioned afterwards. And this is one of the few tracks as well we've seen in the last couple of weeks, drivers making green flag pit stops, getting trapped a lap down because of a caution coming out in the middle of the cycle. With it being a big racetrack as it is, you can make that green flag pit stop, complete the stop, get back onto the racetrack, still be on the lead lap, and if a caution comes out, when everybody comes to pit road, you cycle around to the front of the field. So it is one of those racetracks that actually does benefit the drivers rather than hurt them if a caution comes out in the middle of green flag pit stops. Caleb Fogler from 6th is on pit lane. Saw Rob Evans back there making the dive onto pit road as well. We went back green, I believe it was on lap 11. So these drivers here coming to pit road about 10, 11 laps into the run. We'll see what the furthest is they can go. But that says to me they're going to have to make at least one more pit stop before the conclusion of this race. That's even these drivers here. When they come to pit road, they'll probably have to make one more pit stop within 10 laps remaining to the finish. Does Charles Sanford maybe try and undercut Connor Breton here? Looking at lap times, Connor Breton last time by was 1.7 seconds slower than his fastest lap. A 1:11 was his fastest lap, and he ran a low 1:13 that last time by. Does Breton make the dive onto pit lane this time? Doesn't look like it, but Sanford will. So will Brommer, so will Butcher. Like LaPlante back there indicated he was coming in this time. So Sanford trying to get the lead back, potentially through pit strategy. Dylan Poteet is in. Zach Rogers, Jessica Shelton, Casey Hoyt back there further. I thought I saw LaPlante indicating he was coming in, but nope, he stayed out an extra lap. Turns the lead, or keeps the lead with Connor Breton, but moves Anthony McCurry up to 2nd and Mills into 3rd. LaPlante right now in 4th, Kyler Sustre in the 5th position. So yeah, if Breton comes in this time, it will have been 14 laps into the run. And there's still going to be about 17 laps to go. So yeah, especially with the field more than likely going to get more spread out. Once these pit stop cycles are complete, not as much opportunity for draft. I think they are all going to have to make at least one more pit stop before the conclusion. And nobody from our top 7 are going to be pitting here this lap. Looks like Levi McIntyre's coming in. Going a little bit further are some of these other drivers. Let's see when this thing cycles around who would be the highest running of the drivers that have already pitted. And it looks like it would be Charles Sanford. Just barely over Kyle Matthews. Look at the ground Matthews was able to make up there. Same for Keith Batson with that undercut strategy. Will Goss currently is in the 31st position, but remember he had to come to pit road to serve the black flag penalty, so I believe this is for position between these drivers. But Goss is going to have to be on pit lane pretty soon. Let's check about some drivers that might have come to pit road this lap. Looks like Michael Norman and Reese Banks both came to pit road this time by. Battle here for currently second between Mills and McCrory. And looks like they're all coming down pit road. Breton is on pit lane as well from the race lead. I just saw him up ahead. Sustre, Turner, Ormond. Looks like all our remaining drivers are coming in this lap. That is about 14 laps into this run, so they will all have to pit again. More than likely somewhere in the vicinity of 3 to 4 laps to go, maybe as soon as 5 laps to go. Kyle Matthews got around Charles Sanford. Strategy working out in his favor, at least at this point. Let's see where he cycles around in relation to the 88. Matthews, that last time by, ran a 1:12.0. This time just ran his fastest lap of the race, a 1:11.272. And there is Breton coming off pit lane. Kyle Matthews is going to inherit the lead. Now, granted, he's going to have about 4 lap older tires than Connor Breton, so Breton might be able to reel him back in, though he is going to have some traffic to deal with. But the undercut strategy works for Kyle Matthews. He is going to cycle to the top position. Charles Sanford will be second. It looks like it would be Caleb Fogler, Keith Batson, and then Breton, I think, is going to cycle into 5th after being the race leader. Ryan Brommer and Ryan Butcher, I believe, are going to be 6th and 7th. 8th place under contest here with Jose Mills and Dylan Poteet and Jessica Shelton. Looks like she'll be up in the top 10 after the pit stop cycle is completed. We double check and see if she's already pitted. Yeah, she has. Rob Evans 11th. Anthony McCurry looks like he's going to be 12th. And who's behind him? 13th place will be Zach Rogers, I believe. With Levi McIntyre and Austin LaPlante battling for 14th. Ryan Butcher, Keith Batson, this is for 6th. Batson will hold on to the spot here through the center of the S's. Caleb Fogler, a former teammate to Charles Sanford back in Season 5, putting the pressure on him for 2nd place. Kyle Matthews trying to maybe make his way around teammate Cole Deaver, who right now is 1 lap down. Here's the battle for 4th. Ryan Brommer and Connor Breton. Breton trying to get back up to the race lead after the pit strategy did not work out in his favor. Now here's the interesting thing too. As of this pit stop, it came down to the grip in the fresh tires, but I mentioned the fact that these drivers are going to be coming to pit lane for the final pit stop somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 laps to go. Do you even take on tires on that final pit stop? Or do you go with fuel only? Matthews is going to get around Deaver. So Deaver will go back to 2 laps down. And now there is a lap machine between Kyle Matthews and Charles Sanford, who still has his hands full with Caleb Fogler for the 2nd spot. So these drivers were able to go anywhere from 10 to 15 laps on a fuel run. Let's be generous and say about 14 laps is the furthest you can go on a tank, on 2 tanks of fuel. They're going to have to take on, I think, probably a can of fuel, so maybe you go with 2 tires in the amount of time it's going to take to put that can of fuel in for the final pit stop. Maybe? I don't know. It's a strategy call that could end up getting a driver not only into victory lane for the first time this season, but into a playoff position. Consider Kyle Matthews and the situation he's in right now coming into this race. He is currently 36th in points, but he is only 28 points below the 30th in the standings cut line. A win here today, he could get those 28 points back, jump up into the top 30 in points, and potentially be in a wild card position. Now granted, Will Goss is currently all the way back in the 39th position. Levi McIntyre is currently back in the... Well, I had it on the list and then I just lost him. Back in the 14th position. These are former winners that were just inside of the top 10. If they fall out of the top 10, then they fall into wild card positions, and Kyle Matthews is going to have to probably get another win or find a huge momentum streak here in the final few races of this regular season. But, I mean, step in the right direction is first getting that checkered flag, and Matthews could be able to do it here today. Let's drop back here to the 4th and 5th place battles going on. Poteet's actually cleared into the 4th spot. Ryan Butcher got around Connor Breeden, who now wants the spot back. This is 5th. And very impressed with Jessica Shelton and what she was able to do in pit strategy to make her way up here into the top 10. As Breeden, who I thought he was going to hold off Ryan Butcher, but Butcher is still there. Behind them, battle between Ryan Brommer and Keith Batson. Got a car on pit road back there. Couldn't tell who that was. Oh, it's Will Goss again in the 11. Rob Evans right now holding down the 12th position. Austin LaPlante is back in 14th. His nearest competitor for the points lead, and Casey Hoyt, who looked very strong in the early going, has drifted all the way back to 21st. So Rob Evans looking like he will maintain and or grow his points lead again heading into Atlanta next week, as Anthony McCurry and Jose Mills duking it out here. This is for, I believe, the 9th position. Jessica Shelton in 11th looking on, the Mac Tonight Dodge Intrepid. It's going to get to a point. You got Breeden and Shelton running up here very well inside of the top 10. It's going to get to a point here in the next couple of weeks where we're going to be able to say Shelton and Breeden are locked into the playoffs via wild card spot, as they will continue to try and cushion their positioning to 30th in the standings. If they can get themselves 47 points ahead of the 30th in the standings cut line by the time we get to Auto Club, they're locked in. They will have clinched wild card spots, being repeat winners, Shelton with 2 wins and Breeden with 3 wins. Right now, Breeden coming into this race is only 24 points ahead of the cut line. Jessica Shelton is only 27 points, so they're not out of the woods yet. Kyle Matthews has led the last 5 laps so far after that pit strategy has appeared to definitely work out for him. He will have to probably be one of the first ones onto pit road for the final pit stop. Same for Keith Batson, who has managed to work his way up to 7th place with the strategy call. But when Matthews makes the dive onto pit lane, do others follow him? Everybody, I believe, regardless of when you come to pit road here, are going to have to take on a can of fuel. So do you maybe come to pit road right when the race leader does? Don't let him get the advantage on the fresh tires if they change tires on the out lap. Or do you run it a little bit further? Sanford finally completes the pass around his teammate Cole Deaver. So now, no traffic between Kyle Matthews and Charles Sanford, the 2 previous winners. You've actually got the 3 active previous winners from the 2 seasons currently running in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Matthews and Fogler were co-champions in Season 5. Charles Sanford, the outright champion in Season 6. And that's your podium at this current point in time. Fogler of the 3, the only one that's taken a checkered flag here in Season 7. Matthews and Sanford both looking for their first. And don't look now, but Dylan Poteet is running some good lap times here. And he is starting to close in on the top 3 also. Oh, Ryan Butcher a little wide there. And the caution is out, and this changes everything because I think with this yellow flag flying, I think everybody's going to be able to come to pit road and they should be able to make it the rest of the way. So there goes the pit strategy. And you saw the 4 of Kyler Sustre on pit lane. He might have very well been the reason for this yellow flying. Kyler, who failed to qualify the last couple of weeks, made his way into the show this week. Actually was in the Fast 10 to run for the pole yesterday afternoon. Needed points as he came into this one 44 points below 30th in the standings cut line. And does not look like he is going to get the points he needs, at least here this week. Let's see if we can quickly go back, see what happened to him before we cover the pit stops here. Where exactly was this incident? Oh, it was through the bus stop, battling with Carson Gum. Looks like the 4 might have curb hopped there. Couldn't get off of Carson, and pretty good hit there into the tire barrier. Carson Gum with some pretty significant damage as well. We actually had another spin in the bus stop right after that too, with one of the Joanna Atwood Motorsports cars. I think it was Joshua Osborne. We'll cover that in a minute here as we take another look at the impact there for the 4. And then there's Osborne, the 27, who just flat out loses it, as does Cody Lamas. Osborne with rear end damage. Lamas is, I think, oh, Lamas is going to hit the tire wall as well. So a couple of drivers there in a follow-up wreck, spinning out after the initial contact up in the bus stop between Sustre and Gum. Kyler Sustre on pit road as we bring you back to live action. Deaver going to stay out and hope that he could get himself still a yellow flag to get him back in the lead lap, as he is 2 laps down right now. Has been 2 laps down for most of this race after the unscheduled pit stop at the very beginning. But everybody else is on pit lane, including the race leader Kyle Matthews. We had some drivers stay out. I don't understand that strategy, unless they feel there's going to be another caution between now and the end. And they are going to go with a 4-tire stop, as we would have been right here within the fuel window to make it the rest of the way. So why not fill the car up? All these drivers here that were around mid-pack, they're going with track position and maybe hoping something pans out into their favor. Jose Mills is going to inherit the race lead. Nathan Ormond will be second. Austin LaPlante, Matt McIntyre, and Jesse Turner are going to be the top 5, with Mitchell Collins, Matt Haas, Reese Banks, Matthew Rodriguez, James Qualls the top 10. These drivers have to be planning on a quick yellow coming out after they go back green, because they're going to have to be on pit road more than likely, what, in the next 6 or 7 laps? No, earlier than that. They'll have to be on pit road within the next 2 laps, it looks like. I don't understand this call at all, but I guess if you know you're probably going to finish mid-pack anyway, why not roll the dice and see if something works out in your favor? They will have the lap machine of Cole Deaver in front of them. Deaver has proved to be up to speed, though, so it's not like he will be a hindrance to these drivers. And they have actually now taken Kyler Sustre's car back behind the wall to join Laura Chung. So it will be a poor points-paying day for Kyler Sustre, whose chances of making the playoffs are looking bleaker and bleaker. Of course, we got the announcement that Kyler Sustre is going to be returning next season to the Duracell Cup Series competition. Going to be spending the off-season hunting for a charter to try and make all the races next year. So far, in the 22 completed races this season, Sustre has qualified into 18 of them. And of course, a former winner this season in only his 3rd start of his career at Las Vegas. Was hoping that that win would translate to a playoff position, but as of right now, the percentage of that chance not looking good. Well, we've never had a repeat winner here at Watkins Glen. We've got 2 former winners up inside of the top 5 for this restart. Mills, who won the very first race here in Season 1. Turner, who followed up the season after in Season 2. Green flag going to come back out with 7 laps to go. But I think that most of the drivers up here cannot make it on fuel. We'll see what happens. Keeping an eye on the telemetry with Kyle Matthews, Charles Sanford back there. That, I think, is going to translate to the eventual battle for the win if things stay green from now till the end of the race. As Mills clears Nathan Ormond. Ormond going to get around Cole Deaver. Put him between himself and Austin LaPlante. Jesse Turner and Matt McIntyre along with Mitchell Collins. A couple of blue ovals, mixing it up there for right now the 4th spot. I believe Charles Sanford has completed the pass around Kyle Matthews, so if all these drivers here cannot make it and come to pit road, Sanford, I believe, would cycle out to the top position. Yes, he would. Ormond putting the pressure on Jose Mills, and nobody here from the lead pack pitting yet. They're hoping that yellow comes out. Deaver's coming in, though. Lap car. Oh, someone nearly wrecked back there. That was Jesse Turner and Austin LaPlante. Keep it together there off that final corner. 3 wide as, look at the damage on the 33 of Mitchell Collins. He ran into the back of somebody. It might have been the 47 or the 48. That's a pretty good buckle on the hood of the Pennzoil Ford Mustang. Drop back here, there is Sanford. Actually, Breton got around Sanford, so Breton might be the driver right now in the catbird seat. If indeed these drivers up ahead come to pit lane. Sanford trying to battle back for the top spot, which right now would be 16th place. Ryan Brommer right in this conversation along with Caleb Fogler. Kyle Matthews is still there. Shelton, Batson. Who's going to get the spot down here through 6 and 7? Sanford might be trying to pin the 88 behind cars if they're coming to pit lane, which right now, not yet. Nathan Ormond got around Jose Mills while we were checking in the middle of the pack. He goes to the point. Nathan Ormond looking for his first win on the season. Don't know necessarily if it would get him into the playoffs, as he is last of the full-time drivers in overall standings, 42nd. And he is coming into this one 49 points below the 30th in the standings cut line. He'd need a lot of help between now and Auto Club, but never say never. Trying to get Michael Norman Motorsports their first win on the season. So far, they've had a goose egg. Matt McIntyre, Michael Norman, Mitchell Collins, and Nathan Ormond have all failed to find victory lane here in the first 22 races of the season. Maybe it'll be race 23 for car number 23. As Ormond continues to stay out. This time by, it will be 4 laps to go. How much could they possibly have saved under the pacing laps? I mean, there was only, what, about 1.5 pace laps to be able to save fuel? And I had these guys projected anywhere from 4 to 5 laps shorter on fuel than everybody else. Now, I'm assuming that these might have been drivers that came to pit road like the last in the pit road cycle, so they were able to go a little bit further, but I don't see a way clear for them to have been able to make it all the way to the checkered flag. But if they do, I mean, look at some of these drivers and the finishes they're going to get. Matt McIntyre right now in 3rd. Matt Haas in 4th. Reese Banks, who's trying to point his way into the top 10. Right now in the 5th position. Matthew Rodriguez, who really needs points to be able to get back up in the top 30 right now, in 6th. Austin the Planer is trying to get the points lead from Rob Evans right now in 7th. I mean, if this works out, this is a huge strategy call for all of these drivers. And the man on the move, though, on fresh tires is Ryan Brommer. Looks like Mitchell Collins is coming to pit lane. I don't know if this is a regularly scheduled stop for fuel or if he's coming down to get that damage repaired on the hood. Somebody else just dove onto pit lane with him. That might have been the 66 of Zachary Fitzwater. I only got a quick glance. I'm not 100% certain, but Ryan Brommer right now with the fresh tires has worked his way up into the 13th position. You can see the gap back to Charles Sanford. Brommer, I believe, is the highest running driver that we know can make it on fuel. Or we think that we know can make it on fuel. It was Fitzwater was the other driver on pit lane with Mitchell Collins, and Collins actually with that damage, they've brought him to the garage. I'm wondering if maybe the radiator got caved in or something. So Collins is going to go back behind the wall with Kyler Sustre and Laura Chung. Not sure where he's going to finish. There are some lap cars. He could finish as low as 40th, but we'll have to wait and see. Ormond continues to stay out. This is a gutsy call by his crew chief as he hits the line for 2 to go. If he can make it, this could be the steal of the season. Battle on for 2nd. Mills, McIntyre, and Haas. Matt Rodriguez just got the 5th position away from Reese Banks. Struggling year for Nathan Norman. It's the 3rd different team he's been with in as many seasons. And maybe en route to picking up a victory here in what has been a struggling season 7. He's got 3 top 5s on the year, but those are his only 3 top 10s as well. Average finishing position of about 29th place. And he does not indicate he's coming to pit road. He's going to go one more circuit. Reese Banks can't make it on fuel, though. He's coming to pit lane, and the white flag is in the air for driver 23, Nathan Ormond. Well, Nathan Ormond made the announcement a couple of weeks ago that he'd be returning back to Michael Norman Motorsports for a 2nd season in Season 8. And what a way to show that the decision is the right one than to be the first driver out of Michael Norman Motorsports to pick up a checkered flag here in Season 7. Look at the gap all the way back there to Jose Mills. If he does run out of fuel here, maybe going down to turn 6 or 7, I think he's got enough wiggle room where he'd be able to make it back around to the start-finish line before they caught him. Able to play with the throttle here, save a little maybe through the carousel to make absolutely certain he can make his way back to the checkered flag. We didn't even mention Nathan Norman during the entirety of this race because he was mid-pack. He was a non-factor at the time, but played the strategy with that yellow, stayed out for the track position, knew what he was doing all along, and saved enough fuel to get to the end. There's the checkered flag in the air, and Nathan Ormond will get Ford back to victory lane at Watkins Glen International. First win of the season for Nathan Ormond here in Season 7. Jose Mills and Matt McIntyre will make it a Ford 1-2-3 here at a track they dominated manufacture-wise in the first 4 seasons of competition. Don't think Nathan Norman's going to have enough fuel to be able to do a burnout, but what does this mean for Nathan Ormond here in the final 3 races of the schedule? Is there a mathematical equation for a driver who is dead last of the full-time drivers in points, over 40 points below the 30th in the standings cut line to get himself up into the top 30 and maybe, like he did today, snipe a last-minute playoff position. We're going to have to wait and see. It all starts next week at Atlanta Motor Speedway, as Nathan Ormond will bring the car down to pit road, and they may have to push him to victory lane. Standings should be official. Big wing for Nathan Ormond here this afternoon. Jose Mills brings it home in second, and Matt McIntyre will finish it out in third. How about the teammates out of Haas Racing in fourth and fifth? Matt Haas and Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez needed these points here today to get back up to the top 30 in standings. He gained 3 positions last week after Homestead. He should gain more this week. Destin Bolin, great run for him after the hardships of Homestead last week. In 6th, Austin LaPlante, going to bring it home in 7th with the strategy call. He's going to close up the gap between himself and Rob Evans for that points lead even more. Where did Rob finish? I don't think he finished inside of the top 25. No, he didn't. Ooh, do we have a new points leader potentially going into Atlanta next week? We'll have to wait and see. Jesse Turner, former winner here, brings it home in 8th. Zach Rogers, the continuing consistency for this team, as he'll bring it home in 9th. And James Qualls, along with his teammate Joshua Osborne, there 10th and 11th. Charles Sanford, who led the most laps here today at 14 circuits, will have to settle for 12th. Dylan Young in 13th. Carson Gum, who had that contact with Kyler Sustre through the bus stop, bringing out the game-changing yellow, is still going to bring it home in 14th place. Jessica Shelton will finish in 15th. Then Quentin Moore, Ryan Butcher, Chris Dollerton, Anthony McCurry, and Dylan Poteet will be the top 20. Ryan Brommer could not make it on fuel, and he will finish back in 28th after he had a strong car today. Connor Breton, who had been able to race his way up to the front, he's going to finish in 32nd. He couldn't make it on fuel, and neither could Kyle Matthews, who had a very strong machine and was out in front for 7 laps. He's going to finish in 34th. Other drivers that couldn't make it on fuel, Keith Batson, who was playing the strategy there, he couldn't make it, 36th, last car on the lead lap for him. And Rob Evans, who came in the points leader, finishing in 35th after LaPlante finishes in 7th. That is a 28 position difference, and there was 25 points separating those two coming into this race. In a matter of 2 weeks, Austin LaPlante is going to go from 3rd in points to the regular season points leader with only 3 races remaining. How about that? Cole Deaver and Nick Gunther had issues the entirety of this race. They finished 2 laps down in 37th and 38th. Mitchell Collins, with that damage, they brought him back behind the wall with a few laps remaining. He did manage to finish ahead of Will Goss, who was still out onto the racetrack, and then Kyler Sustre and Laura Chung, the defending winner of this race coming in, going to finish in 41st and 42nd position. Well, it's a wait and see for Nathan Ormond. Can he utilize this victory to get into the playoffs with only 3 races remaining? We're going to have to see what he's able to do starting next week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Got some tough tracks here to close out the season, as Bristol Dirt on the horizon, as well as the regular season finale at Auto Club. But Ormond's going to do what he can to try and see if he can get a Michael Norman Motorsports car into the playoffs. Right now, none of them are in a position to advance into a postseason slot. But Nathan Ormond might be able to be the first. We'll have to wait and see, though. Next week, it is Atlanta Motor Speedway. Hope you guys enjoyed us. Will join us for that. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race from Watkins Glen. Strategy, as usual, here at this road course. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become part of the crew today. We have shown you your full finishing results, and these are the point standings as a fallout of today's event from Watkins Glen. We will see you guys next week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let me double check real quickly and see if we have a lights race there. I can't remember the next time that we've got the lights drivers at the for the doubleheader. Looks like it is going to be next week. Yep, at the Atlanta Motor Speedway doubleheader with those drivers, so hope that you guys will join us for that. But until next week, as we are in literally the final hours of the regular season, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.